Hello everyone, welcome back to another Follow the Recipe, and today I'm actually going to be making an actual coffee cake inspired by my Miir Carafe. So let's just get started. Welcome back everyone to another Follow the Recipe, and like I said, today I'm going to be making an actual cake recipe. And I have this recipe right here in front of me. This is from the isdelightful.com, and actually it's called actual coffee cake recipe. And I'm going to do my best today in trying to follow the recipe and trying to create this. I think this is the first time I'm actually making such a cake. I don't think I had ever made a cake that requires this many steps and everything. I have been reading the recipe, I have been reading the instructions and everything, and today is the day that I'm actually going to be doing this. And of course, as in the intro, I'm going to be featuring my Miir Carafe, which I'm really excited to be trying this out and making the coffee to make this cake. So no further ado, let's get into the ingredients list. So the ingredients for this recipe are breakdown in 3 different categories. The first one is for the Streusel topping and swirl filling, and for that we are going to be needing 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a spoon and leveled. So I actually went shopping for all these ingredients. Oh, and by the way, I am in a new kitchen. A long story short, I moved, I got this really nice deal, and now we are in a new place with a new kitchen. Obviously, it looks a lot bigger than my previous one, and it looks a lot more brighter. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here today, showing you guys and working in my new kitchen. All right, let's get back to this. So I'm going to be needing some all-purpose flour. As you can see, we're going to be needing a lot of stuff today. All right, so I have all my measuring cups and spoons and everything that I'm going to be needing today. So let's just get started with this whole situation. As you can notice, this is a lot of ingredients, there's a lot of steps, but I know we're going to be able to make this happen. All right, so the first step is preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit degrees. Okay. All right, the oven is on. Now we're gonna wait for it to warm up. Then says butter an 8x8-inch pan and line the bottom and sides with parchment paper. Set aside. So I don't have parchment paper, but I do have the pans and I do have spray. So I think we're gonna have to do that with that. And I think I'm going to be doing actually this spreading situation later on once we're ready to pour, because I know if I pour this now, it's going to melt and it's going to go all over the place. It's not going to stick exactly where I need it to be. Before we actually get into mixing all the ingredients, the first step I'm going to actually be doing right now is actually make some coffee using my Miir Carafe. So let me just clean out this table and let's get right on that. So the first step to actually make the coffee using my Miir Carafe is actually to boil some water using my Miir kettle. All right, so I just fill up my Miir kettle with water, and now I'm going to let it heat up until like around 195 degrees or so. Okay, while the water heats up, I'm just going to be prepping my carafe with 1 filter on. And now we're just going to put it on the side while the water boils. Now that we have the water boiling for our coffee, now we are going to be continuing with this recipe. So the first thing is make this Streusel topping and filling mixture. So in a medium bowl, I don't think I have a medium bowl. Okay, so we have a medium bowl here. It says combine flour, brown sugar, cinnamon, salt, and mix together thoroughly to combine. So it says combine 1 cup of all-purpose flour, now we also need a 1/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, we need 1/4 of teaspoon of salt, and now we mix. It smells really good. Now we are going to be adding the 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. It's 6 tablespoons is equals to 3 ounces. So we are going to be that. Okay. So I'm going to put it in my lovely cup. I'm going to put it in the microwave for a few seconds and then I'm back. Alright, so it says to add the butter. And now we're going to be mixing until it has a crumbly mixture. So I just finished with this mixture. Now it says step number 3, portion out half of the mixture into another bowl and add cocoa powder. Okay, so we're going to put this in half. And it says add cocoa powder into this mixture. Oh my god, it smells delicious. And for this one, we're going to need 1 tablespoon. And now it says you should have 2 separate mixtures, 1 coarser crumb for the top end, okay, and 1 finer cocoa powder crumb for the filling. Set both blades aside to prep for the cake batter. So let me continue mixing this and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're gonna put this to the side and let's continue with the mix. Alright, how to make the coffee cake batter. It says, in a small bowl or cup, dissolve instant espresso coffee in boiling water. Set aside and cool to room temperature before using. Alright, now let's check on that hot water. Alright, it looks like it's almost done. Alright, so I have my carafe here. Now let me put, okay. So now we're going to be setting the filter with a little bit of water just to get the whole process kind of like semi-started, and also for the filter to stick into the carafe. And now for this part, I'm actually going to be adding approximately around 6 to 7 tablespoons of coffee grounds. And now for the best part, we are going to be pouring in a little bit of water just to around it, just in circular motion to really start the brewing process. And now we wait for it to pour, and then I'm going to repeat the same process until all the water runs out. While my coffee is brewing, we're going to be continuing with the rest. So now it says in a medium bowl, whisk together the flour, cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and combine and set aside. Okay, so for this recipe, I'm going to be needing a 1 and 2/3 of a cups of all-purpose flour. So we have it here. And we're going to need a 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Okay, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And now we're going to be combining. Alright, now it says to add all the other wet ingredients in a separate bowl, but I'm honestly just going to do it all in one. Alright, we're still brewing our coffee, so I'm going to be adding all the other ingredients such as the butter, the brown sugar, the egg, sour cream, and of course vanilla. Half a cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter. Okay, we have our butter here. Oops. Alright, now we are going to be adding a 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. Now we need 1 large egg. And now for this, we are going to be needing half a cup of full fat sour cream. Okay, and now we need 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. Alright, our coffee is almost done, but to then, let me just start mixing these ingredients together, and it does give me a warning to make sure I don't over mix. So I'm just gonna do this pretty slightly. It honestly kind of low-key smells like banana cake. Well, okay, our coffee is finally brewed, so let me just remove the filter. All right. It smells delicious. Let me just pour in some coffee so I can put it in the freezer for a second because we're going to be using this for the icing. Alright, so I have my mixture here again. Now let's pour in the coffee. I know it says it needs to be at room temperature, but I don't have time for this. So we're going to be adding 1/3 of coffee into our mixture. And now we mix. Alright, so I finished mixing the batter. I don't want to over mix it. It still has a little bit of some crumbs and things like that, but I think this is completely normal. Now let's put our cake together. Alright, so now let's put our cake together. Once again, make sure we spread nice and even into an 8-inch pan. Now it says to pour in only half of the butter, nice and even. Now we're going to be adding the cocoa powder crumb that we made earlier, which is this one. We're going to make this nice and even. Okay, this is what it looks like so far. And now we're going to be adding the other half of the butter. Okay, and now it says to add the other half of the crumb that we made earlier, and nice and even as well. Okay, so this is what our cake looks like. Now it says to bake the coffee cake in the center of your preheated oven or 350 degrees oven for 35 to 40 minutes, or into the sewer and set it into the center. Comes out with a few moist crumbs. Now wet butter. Okay, and if you find the top is brewing too quickly, loosely tin the cake in aluminum foil to finish baking through. All right, so let's just put this baby into the oven, and I'll be back in. Actually, yeah, I'll be back in approximately around 40 minutes. I'll take it back. While I wait, I'm actually going to be enjoying a little bit of coffee that I just freshly brewed with my new Miir Carafe. A little bit of French vanilla. And that's it. This is actually really good. Alright, so I see you guys in 40 minutes. Here we are again about an hour and 15 minutes later, and our cake is officially done. So now let's just take it out of the oven. So this is what our lovely cake looks like. And because I didn't have parchment paper, and usually this is the way the cake's supposed to be looking at, we're gonna have to flip this cake. So while it's warm, I'm going to be placing it into a plate, and then we're going to flip it. So let me do that really quickly. And this is what our cake officially looks like. As you can see, it's nice and brown on the sides, and the top is so, honestly, and it smells amazing too. All right, so far it's really hot. So I'm just gonna put it in the fridge for a few minutes because we're going to be icing this lovely cake. While our cake is cooling down, this is the perfect time for us to continue with the recipe. And I believe the next thing we have to do is the icing. So we are going to be pouring in, I believe he said, 1.5 cup of powdered sugar. And I have here my lovely cup of coffee that I put into the fridge about an hour, when we were making the coffee earlier. So we're going to be adding approximately 2 tablespoons of coffee. And of course, that recipe says that we can add more than just 1 tablespoon if needed, depending on how thick we want the consistency of the frosting. And now we're just gonna mix very slowly. Okay, so my frosting is nicely and done, and look how delicious this looks like. So while the cake is actually cooling in the fridge, I'm actually going to be placing this in the fridge as well because I want it a little more thicker, so hopefully it will thicken up a little bit more while being in the fridge. All right, so now everything is nice and cooled down. Now let's just lay down the frosting that we made. Let's just go drizzle, drizzle. Look at how beautiful our finished cake looks like. This is amazing. All right, now let's give it a try. All right, now it's time to cut our cake. Let's do this corner right here. Grab a little piece. And look at this beauty. Look at this. Wow. Okay, moment of truth. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared to try this. I mean, just look at how beautiful it looks. All right, now let's see if it actually tastes the same. Not gonna lie, this is freaking amazing. Oh my god, this is really freaking good. And I'm not just saying that just to say that, because honestly, this is the first time I make something this big, like all the steps and everything. I don't think I ever made such a massive, recipe, but oh my god, it was definitely worth it. This is delicious. Okay, so that was really, really amazing cake. I am very happy with the result. I mean, it looks delicious. And the best part about it is that I'm not a big fan of like sweets, like that, even though I like enjoying making sweets, but I don't like to eat sweets. But this one is the perfect combination of sweet and a little bit of coffee. Like it's everything is there. And this is definitely so freaking amazing. So I will highly suggest you guys try to make this. It was definitely a joy. And look at the representation. Like this is gonna definitely turn heads in so many amazing ways. And I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and a special thank you to Miir to be sponsoring this lovely video today, and also for the inspiration for me to be able to do this coffee cake. Once again, I will link the website that I found this recipe right here. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Also, something will pop here. And make sure you guys follow me on my social media at Javier Ortiz NY, which also is going to be up here right here. Like this video, and I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.